Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with Brakken and Nikkie Barben, not Barber. I said it wrong earlier. I got in trouble. These lovely human beings bought an existing cleaning company, Tidy Co., 2 years ago, mostly residential. We yell and scream and say, residential, commercial, but they hate life and they hate me, and they do a little commercial, but we're still gonna love on them. They're out of Harriman, Utah, and they just aside from being nice people that have had some good success went through our program, we thought they'd be awesome. We actually were interviewing them after they graduated, just like, hey, how'd it go? What could we do better? Just typical stuff. And as they're sharing their stories, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I'm like, we need to share. So anyway, I was personally fascinated is strong, but really interested in their story, thinking, I think you guys would like it. I'm like, will you come on the podcast? They're nice human beings, not even charging me. Can you imagine that? And they're just here to share their story because I invited them because they're really representative of a lot of people. Like they're just saying stuff. I'm like, yes, that's how all our people feel. So now I've built them up and they're going to get scared and quiet and not say anything. So why don't you guys tell us, well, kind of, I don't know if I start at the beginning, but most of the time before folks reach out to us, something's happening in their world that's not ideal. God, they're frustrated with this or that. So kind of before we start working together, give us the beginning. Like how did the business look and feel as you've each experienced it?
Yeah. Okay. So we had bought, like you had said, we bought an existing cleaning company. And before that, we had never really been business owners. We had never really knew the ins and outs. Let's just say we were very naive to the business side of things.
Buy a cleaning company out of nowhere.
I don't trust.
For those of you guys on the podcast that aren't watching the video, Brakken just did I have no goddamn idea face and looked at his bride. So I'm pretty interested to hear the answer.
So this is a little bit of a story too. So I work for a big company that is
worked previously.
Currently.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I know, but I wanted to make sure the audience got it. Keep going.
So I do it both, but I work for a big corporation. It is a worldwide nation or a worldwide company. So it's a big company. And we were sitting in our North America sales meeting, which is in Vegas every year. And I was just sitting on, in the audience. It's at the Venetian. So it's like this huge, area. There's just thousands of employees there. And I just was watching the CAO on stage, and he's a great guy. Like, it's a great company. I have nothing to say bad about it. But I was just thinking, this guy doesn't know me. This guy doesn't know my life. He doesn't know my family. He doesn't know how this job directly impacts my life. Mm-hmm. And the fact that he has control over what I make, when he could get rid of me, if he wants to get rid of me, if he wants to cut my salary, it just felt kind of uneasy to me, I guess. And so, and like I said, I love my job. I still do it. I love it. But it was just that uneasy feeling of not having control over my life in a sense. I didn't love that feeling.
So that got you to I'm assuming that got you to some version of, hey, I'd like to buy a business. How did you, and you're coming for you, Brakken. Don't think you're going to escape this whole thing. What made you decide to cleaning? I mean, there's obviously an infinite amount of things you could have done.
I think it kind of just fell on our lap. One of our neighbors was actually moving and had a company kind of up here that was already kind of going. She advertised it and she said, hey, I'm selling this cleaning company. And it kind of was what the heck, what, let's just do it, and.
So when you bought it, and now we want answers from everybody, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there about to buy a cleaning company or bought a cleaning company. What did you like? Was oh, I'm glad we got it. And this went well. And this is kind of what we'd hoped. And then what was this is not at all what we this is the
I don't know if this is something.
It was something that, we can't go too into detail, but we basically bought a business and it was not as advertised. So we had to kind of figure things out as we go. We lost all of our employees right when we bought the company. They told us we're quitting.
A day after we bought it.
That happened to me literally 25 years ago. And I'd only met him one time for 20 minutes. So it's not like I could have even offended him. Anyway, the version to you and the listeners.
Yeah.
that's really not every employee quitting. I think that might just be a you and a me thing, guys. But things not being as advertised or feeling not as advertised or just being shocked at, I thought I was buying A, B, and C, and this is 4, 5, and 6.
Like, I want to lead with that we were very naive, right? Like, we were naive with buying a
because we're not trying here to slam anybody, to the seller's credit, not that we're going to give names or anything, most they're just seeing things through their own perspective. So, and I don't know your situation. I don't want to know it because, who knows, maybe you had some crazy psychopath, but in most cases, they're not lying or cheating or stealing. They're really motivated to sell. And they're, just like if you ever sold a car and people are like, what's this then? You're like, oh, I forgot about that. I hadn't noticed. Or yeah, that was a long time ago. Or that's no big deal. And we just kind of minimize the things like, I love this car. It's amazing. So anyway, long story short, because I want to move forward to like the transformation, but it sounds like
opportunity on our lap. We decided to take it.
Okay. And it was, you thought you were getting something, and it was something different, and that was stressful.
Yeah, let's just go with that. That sounds great.
And again, we're not saying anyone's nefarious. We're just, that's, you guys experienced it how you experienced it, right? I'm sure if I interviewed the seller, they'd be like, it was the best thing ever. These idiots tore it. Like, everyone's got their own opinion. It's fine. We're just getting how you went. So when you came to us, or when we met, and actually because anyway, we've gotten to speak, but once we've been working together, I have a hard time remembering how you were. So like, I'm kind of interested as well. What was the big frustration? Like, something's got to change. It was the money? Was it the time? Or you tell me, what was not working?
So I would say for our business, we were pretty hands off, right? Like, that was the nice part about buying an existing company, is it already had processes in place and everything was.
Well, if everybody quit the first day, how were you hands off? How'd you get?
That was a whole.
We had to find a whole new crew
and train them.
You were very hands on, and then you were able.
Very hands on, and so we never bought this with intentions of it being our entire life.
Sure.
But we also always had, like, we wanted to grow. We didn't know how, right? Because we only knew what we knew. We only knew steps 1 and 2, but we didn't know how to get to steps 5, 6, 7, and 8. But we knew that they were possible, but we didn't know how to get there because, like I said, we only had as much information that we had on how to run it. Like, because we didn't know what we were doing, essentially.
So our process was just like doing what the old owner was doing, but it wasn't working. Like, we had one team and our schedule was full, which is great, but
we could never get a new client.
We wanted to grow. And then
if somebody quit, we were scrambling. And
yeah. So it was just like, okay, what do we do next? I think this is where we decided to hire you, is we wanted to have a second team. We talked about how to do it, but we had no idea how. So
did you tried and failed, or you just hadn't tried, or what? Yeah. What kind of things you didn't work?
We had a company car. So that was the whole thing of like, do we have to buy a second company car? Do we have the funds to buy a company car? How do we hire employees, but then we don't have houses? Like, it was like a hamster wheel. It was like, we know we need to do these, but we don't know how, So it was that. It was not having enough work for the workers, but obviously not having the workers to start the work.
Yeah. So definite chicken and the egg situation. You throw in, we're doing cars, and it feels I'm sure it can feel very overwhelming. Okay. So we're going to switch to kind of the changes that you made and the exciting part. But I always like asking, because anytime you make a big change, it's scary, right? You have to spend money. Some jerk and his companies can tell you to do everything different. Like, that's really scary. What for you guys was the scariest part of making a change? Or was there some, almost always there's got to be something scary. And what made you kind of pull the ripcord and go, I don't care. I gotta do something different, good or bad?
I think the biggest change the hardest thing for me was probably the financial commitment, just because we were just like a little baby company, right? Like, and it felt like a lot, Brack's like, we should do this. And I was like, that's a lot of money. But when it came down to it, when you and I had talked, you kind of said, like, you can keep doing what you're doing. I think I'm backtracking. I think what actually resonated with me the most is when we were talking at the very beginning and you said, like, I wish you would have reached out to me a year and a half ago when you bought this.
Yeah.
I think that's when I was like, I can't afford not to do this, because if I don't, I'm just going to be reaching out to you in a year and a half again and say, hey, still in the same situation, still kind of a mess, maybe a tiny bit better, but like, we still need help.
So for you, it sounds like it was kind of danged if I do and danged if I don't. I can save a couple bucks and not do anything scary now, but then have the long-term pain of just being stuck. Or I can rip a Band-Aid, spend a bunch of money, which is scary, but at least I've got some hope that in a year I won't be in the same spot. Am I hearing you or am I?
Yep.
Okay. What about you, Bracken? Because it sounds like you had a different fear or less fear, different fears.
I mean, I don't think I really had fear. I think it was more of just like she and I needed to make changes as a business owner, but we didn't know what things to do or even where to start. So I think the biggest impact for me, at least, was taking a look at our like financials and seeing we've got to charge more money. Like we were undercharging everybody and hardly making any money.
So let's talk about that. I mean, so now we'll kind of move into what big. So this is what I want. And it's fun. The reason we do the first part is A, because it's interesting. And B, I promise you, there's a lot of people listening right now going, I have that. I want a second team and I don't know what to do. I feel overwhelmed. I'm stuck and I don't want to be in the same, so that's really helpful. Now we'll talk about some of the things that you did. So obviously everyone can't work with us and the ones that can't, we want to make sure they get value. So what for you, and again, I know some of these answers, but I want to make sure we invite everybody. What for both of you, but we'll start with Bracken, made you go, holy crap, these numbers aren't working. And then typically there's fear there. Everyone's going to quit. They're going to be mad at me. I'll be a bad person. Weird things come up. What got you through that fear?
I think just when I went through all the stuff with the accountant, and then we saw what we were making on each house, it seemed like a no-brainer to raise prices. It was like, okay, we're making $10 this house. Like if we lose this house because we raise prices, it doesn't matter. Like we're going to make more money in the long run. So I think that was what we needed to do, like in order to be more profitable. But it was just the breakdown of seeing the numbers in front of me instead of how I had been doing it, which was just on like a Google Doc every week and or an Excel file every week and not having QuickBooks. And it's like keeping track of expenses and everything has changed how we do things too, because now we know our price point and what we need to do.
So let me repeat what I heard just so I can make sure I'm tracking and ideally the audience is tracking. It sounds like I had a decent loose idea of the numbers, but when I saw them broken down in this manner, like profit per customer, it became pretty obvious to you at least that, well, this is silly. Like either we make money or we don't, but I'd rather not have them as a customer than have them for this kind of pay. Am I hearing you right?
Yeah, because we're here to make our company successful, not just pay our employees. Like we want to pay our employees, right? But we need to make some money there too.
Okay. And just for, because everyone's got a different experience, how many prices did you choose to raise? How many said yes? How many said no? How did that affect your bottom line? How did it affect the clients did you enjoy your clients more or less? Like walk us through that piece.
How many did we raise? Like 6, 7 maybe?
I think we raised probably about half. And then, sorry, we didn't have a huge, our kids aren't looking. This is recording. I'm sorry. We didn't have like a huge, we didn't have hundreds and hundreds of homes. So when I say we raised half, that was probably 11, we raised half of them.
And 11 doesn't sound very many, but you're like, yeah, that was half my company. You're like, okay, that's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was scary because I was like, okay, what are we going to do? Because again, we were hiring employees and we needed the homes. And half of them said yes. And the other half, toodaloo, see you later.
So how did that work? Did you have fears of we're going to be bankrupt, we're going to whatever, or
Of course, I think everybody would have those feelings, right? Of being like, okay, well, this is everything, right? Because now you've paid for a coach, but then in your monkey on your shoulder is what Suzanne says is like, this is half of your business. Like this is half of it just going out the door. And now we're hiring employees. Now we have all this stuff going on, but now we don't have any homes. So I think that was the scary part of like, okay, we lost homes. Now what? But you guys had the now what figured out for us. It was fine.
Well, don't be cagey. The people are like, well, what was it? What's next?
The now what, because we had hired employees and stuff, and it really just came down to marketing for clients that resonated with us and we resonated with them, like finding the right clients, right? We I didn't feel the need to just take any client anymore, which was really kind of empowering, to be able to say, hey, we're not a right fit. And that's okay, because previously it was like, hey, I need a home just to fill a spot. Hey, does anybody want their house cleaned? Does anybody want their house cleaned? And taking anybody and everybody, even if they were complainers, even if they had, every little issue, wanted us to go above and beyond. It was just like, it was okay. So to be able to like take the power back and say, hey, there's a million cleaning companies out there. This is what we offer. This is how we do things. Take it or leave it. This is our prices. If it's not for you, it's not for you. And that's okay.
So it sounds like an unintended benefit you got from raising prices on half your clients was that, to you at least, meant, wait a second, not only can I be particular about the clients I have that are already paying me, that can translate to the clients before I even take them. Like if that means they only want me to work for nothing, or they're just not the right people, or they're someone I don't enjoy serving, I'll just say no and skip the whole hiring and raising prices and firing. Am I tracking? Okay. So how did that work in terms of, did your profit or the ability to take money out go down and then go back up? Did it stay steady? Did it go up right away? Like, walk us through that.
It went down, but the main reason for it going down was we lost a few houses, but on top of that, we were hiring. And so we were paying for another worker to get trained. But now, like, this month is probably going to be our best month that we've had
Ever as a company.
Oh, well, first of all, congrats. That's exciting. And we say best month, you're talking top line revenue, bottom line profit. Talk to me.
both.
Okay, yeah, which is great because those are the two. Get them both. And how long was the gap? Like, were you down for a year, 6 months, 10 seconds?
It was a month. It was.
So you're kind of straight and level. And that's scary, by the way, because you take the coaching most of the time, just so you guys know, you don't go down. You kind of stay about the same. You just work a lot less. Like, your life gets better, but the money doesn't get worse or better. And when you take a dip, that's got to be scary. And it's cool that you guys are like, well, we're in for a penny, in for a pound. We're doing it now. And that's great. That I just love seeing you guys doing the hard things and getting rewarded with, like, oh, now we've got our best month ever. And the cool thing is, God willing, a year from now, this will be like, oh, geez, that was nothing. So hopefully you get, well, yeah, tell me about that. How do you feel longer term in terms of when you came there? You guys just said that we felt stuck and we weren't sure. And we figured, like, if we didn't do anything, in a year, we'd be in the same goddamn spot. How do you feel, and why do you feel differently?
Mike Camping here. Do you ever listen to the podcast and go, this is great information, I just wish I could actually get it implemented, and I wish I could get some help? Well, we do that. If you would like either myself or my team's help actually coming up with a plan that's specialized to you and your business, because with these podcasts, obviously we have to be very general and we can only go 20 minutes at a time. If you'd like to jump on a call with myself or my team, go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. We'll jump on a call. There's no charge, and we'll help you get some absolute clarity around exactly what to do next and how to do it. The reason we don't charge for these calls is the plan that we come up with, people want help implementing that. If that's the case, we're happy to talk about it. And if it's not, that's okay too. We're happy to just help you come up with a plan. So if you want to translate the information you're learning here into an actual plan that can change your life, give us a ring, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk. Love to either myself or have one of our coaches walk you through and actually personalize the content you get here to where you're at with your business. Talk soon.
Well, I think we have probably doubled our clientele in the last month.
Not so bad.
Yeah, not so bad. And all with like the prices that we want to be at, which is really awesome. What else? I think that's kind of.
We already know how to, like, now we know how to build. Now we know how to get an extra team.
Just
like
repeat. Keep going and repeat.
We have the process in place. Like, we were accepting payments before on Venmo. I don't know. And it just, like, nothing was being ran properly. And so we've been, since we switched to the software Jobber, it sends out an automatic invoice as soon as the team leaves the house, or we can just charge up front. Like, it's changed everything. And I think, like, even our clients have noticed. They're like, hey, we love, like, the new process in place, because this seems like a real business now, instead of just like, yeah, let me Venmo you.
Yeah. And it's hard to charge real prices when you're doing not real. You're kind of showing up like guy with mop. It's hard to charge actual cleaning company prices. But when you show up like actual cleaning company, it's not so hard to charge actual cleaning company price. So you said kind of a throwaway line, and I know people are out there going, well, don't skip that, man. Ask them some questions. You casually said, oh yeah, we doubled our company. How? People are dying. What did you do? How'd that happen? People want clients, people. Help them out. Brakken, Nikkie Barben.
Well, we followed your guys' marketing, and it's kind of funny because you had suggested doing free cleans, that you said, hey, when you do, the client that pays, or the company that pays most for a client is generally going to get the client. Does that make sense? Right?
Yeah. Something like, if you have the most to lose, like if you're getting a free clean, you have nothing to lose. Like, we as the owners have all to lose. So we're offering you something for free. And that was like the biggest game changer for us, was offering free cleans, because probably the people listening are like, free clean.
Yeah, but I was the same. Because I remember when I asked you, Mike, I said, okay, like, we're ready to go in marketing. Like, what's the first step? And that was one of the things that you said. And I kind of gave you pushback. I was like, wait, for real? Like, a free clean? Like, you want me to send my team in there for free? And you were like, yep, it works. And it took me a minute. When I say a minute, like probably an actual minute, like a day, to be like, if I really was talking to Bracken, and I did give it pushback. I was like, that's crazy. Like, I can't imagine just going in and doing something for free and expecting them to sign up. But it is like the secret sauce. Like, it really has worked for us. I don't know if this is it's going to work forever, but currently we're just repeating this over and over, and we have really great success. The clients are loving that. We're like, hey, we're freaking awesome. We can prove it to you. If we're not a great fit, like, oh, well, see you later. Like, you got a free clean out of it. Give us a Google review and we'll see it out. Like, that's fine. And other clients are, I mean, we haven't had anybody do that, but like, most clients are like, I can't believe that you would offer to come and clean my house for free, do an amazing job, and then like, they can't not want us back because they're like, this feeling feels so good. Like, name your price, please come back.
So let me just give a little context, so everyone's not like, am I just advocating giving free cleans to everybody forever? Like, nope, hold on. So you said a lot of stuff. I just want to put a bow on it, because you said some really, really good things. First of all, you'd alluded to something I actually got from Dan Kennedy. I don't know where he got it or if he just made it up, but the person who can, in the cleaning industry, I get a lot of people, I'm doing the huge air quotes, podcast friends, of like, brag that they don't do any marketing. We grew exclusively by word of mouth. Like, they're really proud of that. And it's like, cool. So what are you doing? $1 million, $2 million? Like, oh, we have got, 31 clients, and we're doing, 23,000 a month, or whatever the case may be. The person who can spend the most money to attract a client wins. So if I come into, Nikkie and Bracken's town, and I'm going to spend $5,000 to get a residential client, they're screwed. They have no chance, right? They're just going, I will have all the clients. I'll have all the good ones, for God dang sure. So we don't want to brag about how little we spend to get a client, which is fine. Like, we love repeat and referrals. They're excellent. They're just not scalable, right? So if I want to scale, whoever can spend the most to get a client wins. So I just want to be clear on that concept. When it comes to free cleans, two things. One, we have to be selective about who we invite this to, right? Nikkie and Bracken didn't just wander the streets offering free cleans. They posted in places where it was a high concentration of their perfect prospects, right? Because poor people, cheap people will be like, I like free things, and I will take your free thing and be right on my way. Thank you very little. But the right prospects do exactly what Nikkie and Bracken said. It wasn't about the free clean. It wasn't about them going, what? This would cost me $180. I'm going to save $180. It was exactly like you guys said. The right clients go, you must be really confident in your stuff. Like, really? Because the right people we're looking for want cleaning companies. They're just like, oh, I should call, or you should, I don't know. They're going to send a salesperson. I don't know. What if they stink? There might be some guy. I don't know. And we're like, it's free. They're like, holy crap. There's just like zero risk on my end. Like, what could possibly go wrong? And then you do a great job, because obviously you kind of half-ass it. Then we're spending money, marketing money, to tell people we're no good at this. It's just like, wow. So really, really great job on, especially you, Nikkie, if you're like, hey, I was afraid, because it's easy when you're like, that makes sense, I'm going to do it. It's easy when you're afraid. So I just want to give that out. It is to the right people. It's not about giving discounts or trying to cheap out on stuff. It's about making an offer. People go, I'd have to be crazy to say no to that. and making that offer to the right people. So just want to put that on. That said, let's do some numbers. I know them, but I want to share with everybody. How many free cleans did you give? And this is not typical, by the way. They had a pretty good result. But how many free cleans? Because it's like how many free cleans, and the goal is everybody allows you to give them a bid for recurring service. And then if they want to sign up, they sign up. And if they don't, they don't. And if we can get 33%, you got to do 3 free cleans to get 1 client is kind of low end of what's okay. And half's good. I do 2 free cleans. I get a, free clean costs $100. You do 2 of them. That's $200. You get a $400 a month client. This is a good deal. Do that all day. But you guys' numbers, how'd you guys do? How many free cleans you give? How many in your clients?
I think we're a little bit higher now. And I don't know.
Yeah, know what it was we spoke when you guys graduated and was asking you how things went, how we could do better. But yeah, give us the updated numbers.
Probably
15?
yeah.
Yeah, we try to do just for the bandwidth what we have in our lives. We try to do 2 a week is what we're kind of doing.
And bandwidth in your lives, these are done by the employees, obviously not.
They're done by the employees.
Yeah, we don't clean.
I just don't want people to think that you guys were doing the free meetings because it's in bandwidth.
Or my bandwidth with doing the walkthroughs with the clients. We have 3 kids and our kids are in sports and stuff right now. So I was set a goal to just do 2 a week. Now that summer's here, we'll do more. But with those 2 a week, I think we're up to 15. We've done 15 free cleans, which doesn't sound like a ton, but it feels like a ton. I don't know. We're waiting for it to not be here, to not be this, but we're 100%. Every single client that we have done a free clean on has now signed up for recurring. And the cool part that I feel has come from it too is I'll go through and do a walkthrough and I'll talk to them about their pain points and things that they need. And not I've convinced them, but I almost tell them hey, if you want this to look like this, if this is your end goal, that's a deep clean. And as probably about half of those clients have then signed up for a deep clean, which is more revenue on our side, plus a recurring client. So I think that's kind of been the magic for us is wow, not only are we doing way more deep cleans, which are higher price, we price them hourly. Our deep cleans are our team has never been so busy. Let's just say that. Plus, they're becoming recurring clients.
15 new clients. If you started with, and now hopefully you're doing I believe you're doing some other marketing, but if we just count this, if you're 22 and you added 15, that's a big, that's in a month, and this thing's been going for years. So that's don't short sell it. Don't short sell yourself. That's a big deal. And if we just, I don't know what your numbers are. We don't have to get into it, but average for most of our clients nationwide, if it's an every other week clean, about $400 a month. They stay 2 years. That's $9,800. Call it 10 grand, 15 clients. It's $150,000 of revenue or of lifetime value. And maybe they stay longer, maybe they stay shorter, but we got 6 figures of value added in a month or 2. That's big boy, big girl stuff, kids.
Yeah. So it's been really cool.
Nikki's been really smart about it too when she tells them to do a deep clean, because we don't do the deep clean for free. So we charge for the deep clean and then she just comps the first clean.
Because they've already gone and done the dirty work.
Love it.
Because they're well, I thought this was a free clean. And I said, sure, you give us $1,500 to clean your house, deep clean it, and I'll come in and I'll pay my team $100 to just maintain it. And then they're a recurring client, so that's been something that's been really great that I tell people hey, if it's a big job for sure. Some people we can go and we can just do a free clean, but some people it's just way too much. It would cost us way too much money, right? To have our team be there for hours and hours and hours.
You can put a cap on it. Hey, we can only do 4 hours or 6 hours and we'll do the best we can with the time we got. Okay. So I don't want to get too much into the weeds of exact mechanics and, because it'll manifest differently in different folks, different sizes, different goals. But the big takeaway, and I just want to give you guys the opportunity to kind of wrap this however you see fit. So start putting together your thoughts of anything you want to share with the listeners. But what I'm hearing you say is at the beginning, you didn't know what you're doing. In terms of business, you were just shooting, doing your best, and you're smart people, but it was just frustrating because you've got a full time, you guys have lives and kids and other things. And this was, I don't say part-time, but you just hadn't done it before. Got some help, did things different. Once for Brakken, he got the numbers straight and clear and holy crap, is this what we're making? It seemed pretty easy for him to go, let's optimize our pricing. That had the effect for you, Nikki, of going, not only we're going to optimize our pricing on our current clients, but I'm going to make sure I'm a little more selective about who I take in the beginning. And then once you found a way to add clients consistently, now you have no fear. You're like, well, we can get, kind of all the clients that we want. And, you throw in a little hiring system and all the other stuff that you got a business. Am I oversimplifying or?
Got it.
Right. All right, cool. Well, we're going to let you guys, this is the fun part. Anything, you each get 60 seconds, just whatever you think would be of value to, we won't even say Clean Nation out there listening. Nikki and Brakken 9 months ago, or whenever your bottom was when you were just dying, what would you like to tell those poor sons of guns that would give them some value? I think it'll help everyone else.
I would say the biggest thing for me is we were kind of at a crossroad when we were looking for help, right? Like I was mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted with the business. And we're not even going to call it business. We're going to call it this side hustle. I was to the point where I was like, okay, I keep like crawling through the trenches, if you will, and hope for the best or let it fizzle out and be done. Or the other thing that I can do is I can really take a hold of it and I can turn it into a real business. And I think that has been the most freeing thing for myself. I don't want to speak for Brack, but like I came from emotionally not invested, emotionally done, exhausted. I don't want to do.
What would you say? Because I promise there's ladies out there feeling exactly, I'm done. I'm at the end of my rope. And maybe they don't say it out loud, but they're feeling it. When you're saying it, like, holy crap, what would you say to that poor gal who's like, either this has got to get fixed or I'm just going to throw it in the garbage. You said, I can't live like this. What do you tell her to give her a little hope?
I would tell her to hire, like, if you can't figure it out yourself, to hire a coach, like somebody that's been through it, to help them say, hey, I have made these mistakes 10,000 times over. I'm not going to let you make them anymore. Let me show you how to fix it instead of just trial and error on one side, right? Like, because we could try stuff and be like, okay, that didn't work. And we could try stuff and it's not going to work. Or we could hire somebody, a coach, and that coach could say, hey, this will work. Want to know why? Because I've already made the mistakes for you. I already know what is going to work. Just let me help you. And it's really empowering, especially somebody that is
Is looking as myself.
Yeah. What?
I said, you said especially someone's like that is as good looking as I am, and you're like, yeah, what? If I could sneak it in and see if I get agreement. Sorry, I was messing with you. Go right ahead.
Okay. I think it's really empowering as a woman, a mom, like all of the things that I have going on, and I feel like there's a lot of people that are probably feeling the same way, that being like, I have a full control of my business. Like I turned it into a side hustle, into a real functioning, full business, like something that is growing, something that if we ever chose to sell it is going to be intriguing to a buyer because we've built it, like not just like, hey, I have 20 clients. Does anybody want them? And I think that's been the biggest thing for me is like, I'm no longer emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted, mentally exhausted. I'm empowered. And I think for me, that's been the biggest change. It has helped me in my life. It has helped me with my children. It's helped me with my relationship with my husband, because when you're emotionally, mentally, and physically exhausted by something that's literally sucking the life out of you, you can't show up for the other parts of your life. So for me, I think that's kind of an extreme example, but that's truly how I feel. Like, I feel like I got myself back in this process when myself was literally drowning.
Well, welcome back, lady. It's especially you get moms that like, not that Brakken doesn't need you, but he's a grown man. The kiddos, they need their mom, and not just the body there, but like actual mom who can like pay attention and not just be wrung out. Like, I got nothing to give you, right? I'll do my best. I'll sit here and smile and nod, but I'm just not here. That's awesome. Cause I've got kids and you get them for a minute and then they're gone. They're grown up. And yeah. All right. I don't want to get preachy. Brakken, you're our brother. What would you say to young, scared, unhappy Brakkens? What's the biggest, best advice you give them to do different?
Well, I mean, it's basically what Nikki had said. You hire a coach. Like, if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know where to go, like, you need help. Like, you are hiring a business coach that is you're paying for their mistakes is basically how I kind of talked to her about it when we had originally discussed, because we had a process in place. It was working, but it wasn't working good enough.
It wasn't working to grow.
Yeah, like it was able to maintain, but that was it, and we wanted to grow. I'm big on coaches just because I know I would rather pay someone money that's made the mistakes instead of going through those, because it would have probably taken us like 5 years to figure everything out, where we were just able to accelerate everything into months.
12 weeks, yeah.
Which is frustrating because Nikki sounds like she had about 3 seconds left. So if it took you 5 years, Nikki's like, that's longer than I had to give.
That is accurate.
Nikki's like, I wouldn't have made it. You would have figured out in 5 years.
I would have been done. That's for sure.
All right, just a quick note to the audience. I literally, before we show, I'm like, don't do a big sales pitch and like, this isn't for that. And then they're like, you got to hire a coach. So that's what they said. I told them not to.
He told us to say it. Just kidding. No, he told us, he said, you don't need to pitch me at all. But like, I think if you can, like, I would definitely hire in a heartbeat again, just because it has, like, I have a new wife.
No.
She's a service we offer, by the way. That's just, this is just them.
Yeah, but it's really changed like a lot of stuff for us, to where, yeah, we don't feel like we're drowning in our business and that we're on top of things. So yeah, I mean, sorry we didn't listen to you, Mike, but about the not pitching, we listened to you on the other stuff. That's why we're doing well. But no, like that was the biggest thing that's changed things for us.
Cool. Well, last thing I'll add just to wrap is, sincerely, I don't want us to sound self-serving. So if you're not getting the results that you want, find somebody to help you that's been through it. If it's, you're like, screw you, old man, I don't want you and your crap. So fine. God bless you. But just don't keep doing the same thing. Like Nikki, I love, my favorite part of, you guys getting your life back obviously is my favorite, but just from a coach standpoint, when it hit you in the head, when you're like, God dang it, we've been doing this for a year and a half. And, I was like, oh my gosh, I wish we could have just talked right when you bought it. We could have saved all this headache. And then you kind of doing the math of like, well, what happens if I don't do anything different for another year and a half? Now what? And just going, well, I can't. The pain of spending money or doing something different or trusting someone else or whatever fears you had, it's just less than a year and a half of this, because I'm not going to do that. So if you, dear listener, are feeling that way, please, please, please do something different. And you only really have 3 options. Do the same thing and hope you get a different result. Good luck. Do some random different thing and hope you get a different result. You'll probably get a different result. Just, whether it be better or not is up in the air. Or like Brakken said, pay for someone else. Like, it doesn't have to be us. Find someone that's done it, knows what they're doing, that you can trust, that you vibe with, that you think can help you. And whatever they want to charge you, whether it's lunch or money or a kidney, give it to them, get your life back. Y'all deserve better. You don't have to live like that. So hoping that was helpful. If you need anything from us, reach out, say, hey, we're here to help. And Nikki, Brakken, you guys are the best. See you, Clean Nation. Thanks for the time.
Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.